Peace and blessings, Mr. 1000 Reps, right back at you. Before today's session, I wanted to make sure I got a little bit of hydration in preparation. We're just gonna do our standard 1000 rep circuit. Gonna do a lot of push-ups today, a lot of dips, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of squats. Mostly calisthenics. I might do our usual 250 using our weights, but I'm really trying to focus on core and just using my natural body weight as usual. I've been taking some time off from working out and I feel much stronger, much more loose. My muscles are developed and hard. So in order to keep that going, I'm gonna go ahead and make myself a quick little shake here. We're gonna use our vcut nutrition, hydrolyzed collagen peptides. It's good for the skin. Basically, it just helps it with protein and also keeps your body hydrated, your skin hydrated, which is great for loosening up those muscles before a big workout. I like to do just, half a scoop. Remember, even though we have our vcut nutrition supplements, I'm a big proponent of not depending on the supplements for strength. It's important to let your body do most of its work because everything that we offer, your body produces naturally. So we use this basically more as a enhancement or even as like a transition to a fast or coming out of a fast before we start eating. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get some BCAAs in here. Same thing, I like to use about half a scoop. And then lastly, I'm gonna put a little creatine. For my creatine, I've been carrying it around, so I have it in this little plastic cover, but we do offer the creatine through vcut nutrition as well. Same thing here. I'm just gonna do about just roughly a half a scoop. I'm using about 10 ounces of water or so, 10 to 12 ounces. I'm gonna go ahead and put our strainer in there. Remember, we have these shakers with the built-in strainer available at vcut nutrition as well. I'll do a little shake up. What I like about it is that it's very easy to digest. Now, what I've done is I added about 8 ounces of water and then I added about 2 ounces of apple juice. So that way we get all of our intrinsic sugars, we get all of our natural protein and BCAAs to the skin and directly to the muscles to keep it hydrated. Bottoms up. Great. What I also like about it is the taste, because the taste in itself, it's not like a heavy taste. It's really light, almost like it's just water with some taste in it. The apple juice and our honeydew watermelon they don't fight each other, so you don't get a bitter taste. I could definitely taste some of the honeydew watermelon, but even though I used a small portion of apple juice, I could still taste the apple juice as well. So it's got a nice flavor where it's not overbearing. And it's easy to digest. You don't feel anything in your body. I think with the exception of the nitric oxide, which is the one thing that you use to really charge your body and make your body like fully alkaline, everything else is just easy to digest. So stay tuned for the workout. Mr. 1000 Reps once again. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, keep repping.
Mr. 1000 Reps.
Well, as you know, in the den of pain, the whole purpose of it is to grow, both emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So I've been really taking part in resting a lot. Back about 10, 15 years ago, I used to do 1,000 push-ups, 500 dips, 500 squats, and 250 pull-ups every day for 14 straight days, which would be approximately like 2 weeks. And then I would take one whole week where all I would do was just rest, eat, and just stretch. And so here lately, over the last, I would say week or 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot more resting, giving my body time to just recover. Now that I'm older, there's really no need for me to be extremely, muscular as I was in my mid to late 30s. It wasn't as healthy as you would think to be that muscular, especially since I'm a small frame man. So with that said, I feel a lot stronger, a lot more flexible, and also I don't have the pains that you would get from just fatigue. Thankfully, it's not joint pain. That's not a good type of pain. but just muscle bound fatigue, like I haven't been really feeling it. So in today's workout, I'm gonna go back to my handy dandy weight vest. I'm currently been holding my weight around 184 to 185, which is really good weight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another 15 to 20 pounds of weight with my vest on, and we're just gonna do a calisthenic set. So I'm gonna do 10 push-ups, 10 dips, 10 pull-ups, 10 squats. And I'm just gonna do rotations like that. I'm gonna try to do 250. So that means that pretty much short rest in between and high volume. So stick with us and let's get into today's new workout, which basically is a weighted calisthenic workout. All right, so for the push-ups, I'm gonna do elevated push-ups. The reason for that is because throughout the week I've been doing bench press and I've been doing flies with dumbbells. And so because I hit those major muscle groups with weight, I'm just gonna keep it, to a very basic workout where I have an elevated platform, the dip bars, the pull-ups. I'm gonna do switches between the pull-ups. So I'm gonna go from a wide pull-up grip with a front grip, and then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna do reverse grip off of the wall. And so that's pretty much how I'm gonna be doing the pull-ups. I'm gonna be switching around. With the dips, I'm gonna keep it consistent with the dip bar, but I am gonna change the angles of my push-ups from wide to close. The same thing with the squats. I'm gonna be doing, sumo squats to squats with the legs together, okay? So let's go ahead and start with a basic 10 push-ups. About shoulder width, shoulders right on top of the wrist, and here we go. 10. 10. 10. 10. So as you see, very easy, nice and slow. Don't gotta rush. Take your time. All body weight. Let's continue. Listen, I effed up yesterday. I did like 500 reps of form, pull-ups, and shoulders with a 50-pound weight. Oh my goodness. These basic ass 10s killing me. But that ain't gonna stop us. You know why? Because we keep it repping. Let's go back to it. With the push-ups, it's very important to keep your hands, try to keep them as flat as possible. Puts a little more stress on the wrist, which is why it's important for you to know where you need to keep your elbows at. Because if my elbows are really out here, notice how my wrist really gets that arc in it. But if I move my elbows downward, see how my wrist doesn't get that same motion, that same pressure on the outside? So as I'm doing it, naturally, your hands will come up and you get that spacing underneath, right? So as if I'm here, you can see that there's a little bit of space right here, right? So in order to really get that hamstring, you want to put your index finger into the pad or the ground or, pull up bar, push a bar, whatever you're using. But notice the difference of my wrist here as I come down versus here as I come down versus here as I come down. See, look at how much weight is on that wrist. See that? So as I'm moving forward and back, if I'm up on it and I'm coming here versus here, look how much weight is on my wrist. So you want to make sure that For your beginner, you might not be able to push your hand all the way down, but it doesn't really matter. It's not about how many you can do, but how you do them, right? So even as a beginner, if I only get one good, flat hand, elbows in the right position, least amount of stress on the wrist, that's much more usable, and actually as a conventional workout is healthier than trying to get 3 or 4 or 5 when my hand's up and all that weight on my wrist. So these are little things, little quirks that I do behind the scene that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. Either way will work, but longevity is what we're here for, right? So on the dips, it's kind of the same thing. If I'm coming down and my elbows are all the way out, I'm stretching here. Versus my elbows are in, I'm coming here. So really the dip then concentrates on whether I'm moving my shoulders forward or whether I'm keeping my shoulders upright. And that's where your tricep to chest engagement varies, right? But I want to try to, once again, get this dip to where I'm going kind of straight up and down. And I'm using my index finger again. I'm pressing forward with my index finger instead of with the back of my palm, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? That's 10. So that's a little trick. The same thing with the dip. With the squat. Pardon me on that. So with the squat, if my feet are flat and I'm trying to come down, the secret is not to let your body lean forward. It's to try to keep your body upright. So because I have that remanufactured ankle, it's hard for me to keep those knees moving forward so I can stay back. Like at this point right now, there's a ton of pressure on my right ankle. A ton. So in order to remove that and allow me to really get that squat, I put my feet up. Now I've taken a lot of that flat flexion, I've taken it out because it's lifted. So it allows me to stay upright and come straight down. Very different. Also concentrates on those legs a lot more. This time, we're gonna do the pull-up with the straight bar in the doorway. The reason I like this is because it's a shorter angle, right? With the pull-ups on the rack, I get to be really wide. And so by having this close, I can either do a front grip or a pronated versus a supinated. And so it allows me to get that extra extension to really get those lats engaged. If I turn my elbows in, I get more of the bicep. I also get the lats, but then I gotta make sure I stay up on the bar. If I'm going all the way up and down, it becomes a bicep to lat workout. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this bar. I'm gonna try to keep my wrist straight again. Hang, get my body used to that hang, and here we go. So once again, notice how I only came halfway down, not all the way, because I'm doing push-ups, I'm doing dips, I'm really already engaging all these arms. So I want to get my back engaged. So that's why I'm stopping halfway. In the wide grip as I did, you saw me come down further because I really want those lats to really get engaged. And I'm really not using as much of my arms as you would think. I'm really using my rear delts or my rear shoulders and then my lower back and my glutes to keep my body straight. Stay tuned. That's set number 2. We'll move on to set 3 shortly. All right, so we're moving on to set number 3. Same thing, 10, 10, 10. Now, normally, I only do 25s. But because I want to give my body an opportunity to really get the whole workout, it's going to take me a little bit longer doing them in sets of 10. But also keep in mind that today, behind the scenes, we're preparing for, some really special things coming up for vcut Nutrition. And as Mr. 1000 Reps, I'm really proud to have my son, and I just continuing to raise our level of expectations for what we're trying to do with our channel, as well as with our wellness label. So stay on the lookout for that, and we'll have new videos, with that new surprise and what's coming up next. With that said, let's just get back right into it. Let's do our 10 push-ups. This time I'm gonna go really wide out. I'm gonna add 5 more just because I feel like that. 15. let's go to our dips. Now with the squats, this time I'm gonna put my toes out a little bit, more of a sumo style, hit the outer quads a little bit more. On the pull-ups, we're gonna come in two. Grab them side by side. And there you go. Set number 3 down, one more coming up. All right, so we did our first 2 sets of 10 each, which is a total of 40 in every round. So that we had 80, and then we just did 15 for 60. 80 and 60 is 140. So I'm gonna do another set of 15 to get 60 to get us to 200. I figure that way 2 and 2, you know what I'm saying? If we can do 8 sets, that'll get us up to 400. And then we can go back and figure out something else. I might just up it to 25 each after that. The whole point is, as you know, 1,000 reps. So this is kind of my warm up. So let's go ahead and hit another set of 15 to get to that 200 mark, and then we'll proceed from there. I'm gonna twist my hands out a little bit, get some more of the triceps in there. One thing I also like about this this rig, right, this body vest, is that each one of these slots you could put weight. So not only could you control how the weight is, you can also balance where the weight is. So I really like that. Let's go ahead and do 15 of these dips. Back to the squats. Toes out. Here we go. $15. For the pull-ups, I'm gonna do separate intervals. Ah. 10. Woo! Set number 4 down. Next set coming up. All right, so I did the 200 warm up. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna always up it. You know I love upping it. So we're still in neutral, still in the warm up phase. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do 50 push-ups. That'll get me up to 250 reps. So that'll complete the first quarter. Then I'm gonna go into a 1,000 round circuit for 250. So I'm gonna do calves with a weight, bench press, tricep extension, lat pull down, forearm curl, straight bar bicep curl, shoulder press, leg extension, hack squat, and then we're gonna finish it out with some kettlebell. That should give me 250. So let's go ahead and knock out these 50 push-ups. So I'm gonna do them in 2 sets of 25 for 50, and then I'm gonna move right into the next circuit. So let's see what happens. 10. 10. 25. 10. 10. 25. So that's 50. Let's move on to the next. $15. 15. 10. 25. 25. 10. 15. 10. 25. 10. 15. 25. 25. 15. 10. 25. Woo! Woo! Up! 10, 25. Now, the reason I do intervals like that, remember, I got a torn bicep. So putting too much stress on the bicep and the forearm consecutively like that, 25, 25, to where I'm really tight, really bothers the inner part of my forearm and my bicep because it's tore from here. So this right here are two really delicate pain places. So with that said, it's important to make sure I get a workout here and then work out here and go back and forth. All right, so as I was saying with the forearm and the bicep, because of the torn bicep, I gotta be real careful to jump in between so I don't over tighten and maybe pull or stress that muscle. So we're halfway through the set. I'm gonna go ahead and do some shoulder press. I'm gonna do them a little different. I'm gonna do half up like this and then straighten my arms and half up like this. And then for the last 5, I'm just gonna go straight shoulder press. The reason I do that is to really concentrate on those muscle fibers of the shoulders, especially the rear delts, because you really need that for your pull-ups. And I always tell you that pull-ups is not about arms. Pull-ups is about the rear shoulders, the lower lats, the triceps, the traps, the lower lats, and your glutes, because that's how you stay focused and stay stiff. If you try to do it off your arms, your body will be swinging and you won't really be using the muscles that the pull-up is designed for. But if you lock your shoulders, lock your back, lock your glutes where they're tight, that'll keep you straight, and then the rest is just pretty much pull yourself up. And so your forms are really important. So let's go ahead and grab these dumbbells and we're just gonna go up. You don't want to bounce it off of your hips. You want to make sure you stop just short of the hips. That's 10. Then we go here. You don't got to go all the way up. Just keep the tension on the shoulders. And then up. Ah, 25. Let's move on to the leg extensions. As always with the leg extensions, you want to get deep in there. Push your back so you're not using your back. And just come up. The sweet sound of bells. Hear those bells ringing? It's like being married to your muscles. Bing, boom. I'm about to pray my vows to my muscles. I love you. You hurt me so much. I love the pain. Hold me. Kiss me. Now, that's 20. I'm gonna point my knees outward and really get those outside thighs. Woo! Ah! 25. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna move on to the bench press. Because we got everything already done, we're nice and warm. So we're gonna do the bench press for 25. Then I'm gonna come off and finish everything over again with these damn kettlebells. So stay tuned.